Please welcome Dave Killeen.
Is my speaker on? Can you hear me? Yeah, cool. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, honest to God. Good morning, London. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Dave Killeen, and I'm the Field Chief Product Officer at Pendo. A bit about me, very briefly. I launched Mail Online back in 2005. I'm that old. I scaled BBC iPlayer, and then I moved into Badoo, dating, which then became Bumble. And it turns out, whether you're looking for news or for soulmate, people have a very remarkably short attention span. So I left that fickle world of B2C, and for the last 15 years, I've been leading product and SaaS. My role at Pendo is to work with our most important customers on product craft and AI fluency. And if some of you eagle-eyed people in the front are looking at Dave and thinking, has he taken the AI crazy pills? The answer is yes. I'm actually wearing smart glasses here, beaming my speaker notes directly into my eyeballs. And why? Because I want to stay connected with you, not be looking down at the comfort monitor down below, but more importantly, our time, ever more than is precious. And I want you to get every last ounce out of me in the 25 minutes that we have together. Cool. So if one of my first times wearing these, by the way, so if they do go a bit belly up, then all you'll have is my bald head in view, staring at the comfort monitor down below, and I won't have a foggy for any of you are even in this room. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to start this by breaking a rule. I'm not going to give you the comfort blanket that everyone seems to be wrapping themselves around right now, where people are saying, sure, AI can write the code, but it will never replace human taste. There is truth in it, but I feel it's a massive get-out-of-jail card. And I should know I was one of the loudest people selling it. I used to go around advocating that we're all like Michelin-starred head chefs. AI is a sous chef doing the heavy lifting, but we design the menu. We drizzle the jus, and we place that piece of kale on top to make the menu pop, right? And I was utterly convinced. Taste was our moat. I wrote the articles you can see here, gave the keynotes, but today I want to show you why my entire perspective on this has utterly shattered through my own hands-on experience. And let's first start with what I felt changed big time. In December, AI hit a significant turning point. Andre Karpathy, the godfather of vibe coding, said that it had finally passed the threshold of coherence. Total geek thing to say, right? The models he meant were finally reliable. The barrier to entry wasn't actually the code anymore, it was upfront clarity. And around the same time, some nerds coined compound engineering, which meant the AI in the loop, with it in the loop, I should say, the systems then learn from our mistakes. And it never makes the same mistake again. It compounds. So I started asking myself, could compound engineering be applied to knowledge work? Could AI dance with my knowledge files on my laptop, people, companies, projects, and improve them, and have the AI itself improve its effectiveness over time? So I built a tool called Dex. It's a personal AI operating system connected to all the tools that we love to hate, so Salesforce, Gong, Slack, email, everything. And every morning, it looks at my goals and keeps me accountable. It doesn't just summarize, it prioritizes it. I gave it my color profile, and it would then have a handle on my strengths and my many weaknesses. It was stunningly useful. So I just thought, I'll open source it. And I'm not technical, I don't build software. But 3 weeks later, the leadership team at one of the world's largest tech companies reached out. Now, nothing, sadly, has come of it. But having someone like that, the head of internal AI, reach out to you puts an absolute rocket up your arse to lean in and build this freaking thing out as fast as possible. But building it fast taught me something I hadn't expected. When you have AI in the kitchen, you don't just get code faster. You get a kitchen of headless chickens, an overwhelming explosion of utterly bonkersly brilliant ideas. And when hundreds of ideas hit you at once, your taste becomes a massive bottleneck. Being a head chef in this crazy kitchen isn't enough anymore, I should say. You have to get outside and become the truffle hunter. Our job becomes going out into the muddy forest and pattern matching at massive scale. Scouring, in my case, open source repos, watching what the nerd community is building and being ruthless about which golden nuggets to pull out of the dirt. But sure, who has time for all that mad malarkey? We simply don't, right? So we build a system that hunts for us. In my case, in plain English, hey Claude, every morning, scrape these websites, have a mooch on X, tell me what everyone's rabbiting on about, and then find some open source nuggets that I can steal on GitHub, and love you, Claude. Always say love you. But look at the leverage, right? One person with the entire global software ecosystem being scanned, being summarized every single day. And that's not a productivity hack, right? That's a new operating model. Because when intelligence is effectively free, the average is no longer who has the advantage, the most data, or the most engineers, or the biggest roadmap. The advantage is the speed of the loop. How fast can you spot the signal? How fast can you turn that into software? And how fast can you prove customers actually care? Small teams are already making that loop lightning quick, scanning, synthesizing, folding existing open source building blocks into their products at a fraction of the cost. Real pressure on pricing, packaging, and how fast our organizations can learn and compete and win in this new world. But I'm not here to be a Debbie Downer. Once you see this shift clearly, the opportunity is staggering. This is possibly the most exciting time in our careers to be building. We just need to change how we play. So there's 3 moves. 1, out-hunt. 2, bend the system. And 3, prove impact. Out-hunt, we need to spot the signal in the market before it's obvious and before our competitors do. Bend the system, we need to reshape our workflows around the AI and the system of work itself. And prove impact, when building gets cheap, the question stops being, can we build it, and becomes, should this even exist? And so let's start with out-hunt. Hello, GitHub. So you all know it. Most of us think of it as where the engineers keep their code, but I want to see it, or us to see it, as the earliest radar on our market. Before something becomes a product category or hits an analyst report, it starts here as a scrappy repo. Truffle hunting isn't reading more newsletters. It's watching where the market is actually being built. And what's great about GitHub is that it shows us where these truffles are growing. There's a page called Trending, a real-time read on what the best engineers in the world are building right now. Tomorrow's competitive landscape today. And the next OpenClaw, right? But it only shows you 20 on this page, and I want everything relevant to DEX and my ICP. And there's no way I'm going to do that by hand. So I have an agent that scans it nightly while I sleep. It scours. And what it does, it checks the licensing, it generates a brief for me, you can see here. It rates and finds everything on an enthusiasm level out of 10. Honestly. It explains to me in a non-technical way why it's relevant, and then this is the worst bit, it then spawned ideas onto a shared roadmap, which is crazy. Having a shared ideas backlog with your AI, honestly, competing for the best ideas based on 5 criteria that we have. And let me tell you, when the AI competes with you on ideas, it does something to your head. Bug, bear with me. There you go. Historically, the bottom 80% of our roadmaps are crap, right? But when your backlog turns into 200 brilliant ideas, it becomes overwhelming. 200 brilliant ideas is not a backlog. It's not a roadmap. It's a coordination problem. It's a system of work problem that I'll come back later in Pillar 2. But let's keep needling more on this open source piece, as I don't think we pay as much attention to it as we should do as PMs, if I'm honest. And so my dog robots are not just bringing back feature ideas. Sometimes it drags back an entire product, a fully functioning CRM system called 20, that a one-person team can clone and ship. An open source clone of Claude Design called Open Design, built by one developer in a week. The starting line has now moved, right? The features that used to feel expressive or expensive and defensible are becoming free building blocks for anyone to repurpose, which is madness. Let me show you what I'm most excited about right now. Offline AI. Have a look at this. This is Edge Gallery, a demo app from Google that you can all download and play with today. I'm asking it in airplane mode what the meaning of life is. It's crazy. It's all coming back to me. It's bonkers. A frontier class model natively on the phone, all offline, which is frankly nuts. Look at the next bit. Now what I'm going to do is take a photo of my ugly mug, all offline, mad, and see what it comes back with. There you go. Middle-aged. Well done. Thank you. Love you. I don't know how you're all feeling about this pace, but it's honestly changed so much ever since that threshold of coherence, moment. And there's a very specific reason why. AI now is building itself, literally. Look at this now. This is a research paper on the left about a technology from Google called TurboQuant. It shows how you can compress, only the theory, no code released from Google, compress the AI models enough to run powerful ones on a MacBook Air. Nuts, all offline, right? No code released by Google, but the nerds handed the math paper to the agent and said, reverse engineer this, please. Thank you, Claude. Love you, Claude. And it did it. Honestly, nuts. So if the AI can do that for something as complex as this math paper, what happens when your competitor points one at your UI to help, or your help pages to infer your product? And this is happening today. So that's pillar one, out-hunt the market before your competitors, and do. And then if the cost to build is approaching zero, what becomes the bottleneck? It isn't productivity, right? It's coordination. It's about how you get your whole organization moving smarter. And that brings me on to pillar two, which is bending the system of work. And bear with me, we need to talk about shipping containers. There is a marvelous book called Reshuffle. Please read it. Sangeet Paul Choudary argues that we misunderstand AI as a productivity tool, as a faster horse. He brilliantly says that it's actually more like the shipping container back in the 60s in Singapore. It didn't just reconfigure shipping. It enabled business on a whole other level of second-order effects. AI is a complete and utter redefinition of how the work gets coordinated and how we will compete and win in this new market. Do read the book, or TLDR and Perplexity. It's one of the best business books I have read in years, Reshuffle. So most orgs buy licenses and just hope that people figure it out. And that's basically, really think about it, it's just a faster horse. And my husband's company, they do AI Tuesdays. And he sits there last Tuesday, staring at Claude Cowork like it was an alien from outer space. Dave, what do I do? Just watch some YouTube videos, guy. No, what do I do? And we're handing people Ferraris without telling them how to actually take the handbrake off, right? And the answer isn't more training decks, it's intentionally redesigning the environment people work in. And some companies are doing this brilliantly. Look at Ramp. They built Glass. Every employee gets an AI coworker that knows them, their team, and their wider org. Information flows across the whole business, agent to agent, human to agent, silos gone. This is bending the system. Scan the thread, it's on X, for an overview of how it works. It's a fascinating read. And so this is where, for me, it then got very personal. My truffle dogs were bringing back way too many ideas, so I had to bend my own system of work. I tried, you see here, Jira, Linear, Symphony, to coordinate the chaos. Perfectly good tools, but built for human teams moving at human speed. I needed something that could keep up with my AI, and it didn't exist, so I built it myself. And that's the whole point of Malleable software. When the tools don't fit the way you need to work, you stop waiting for someone else's roadmap. You bend the system, you build your own factory. And so this is my factory. It's not just a Kanban board, it's every column triggers a different AI skill in Claude. Move an idea to 10x, and then Claude channels inner Steve Jobs and says, everyone's idea is crap, make this brilliant. And then move it to the PRD column, and a skill then writes specs that agents can actually execute against, that are predictable. I've got agents now that groom the chaos, each with their own job spec that you can see here behind me. A VP of product, a staff PM, a designer, a tech lead, and from there, it's all framed or fanned out to up to 20 Claude Code instances building on the cloud. It's bonkers. And the whole thing, by the way, it's called agent-flywheel.com. It's open source, if you want it. And the rules that govern all this, that's what you'll see here on this page. They matter big time, because these rules, what you have, is here. There are rules of the factory, and they're my truths. They're the truths that I believe in, where the world is going over the next 12 months. Not planning for today's market, but planning for the market I believe is coming. So, for example, you can see here that the cost of intelligence is dropping to zero. Token expensive ideas today that would hammer our P&L won't be token expensive tomorrow, right? These truths shape how every one of the virtual agents are judging every one of our ideas. And so a system doesn't ask, can we build this? It asks, does it fit into the world that we think is coming? And here's what that system then made possible. And this bit you won't believe, and I certainly did not believe it at first. The system, with these 20 Claude Code instances on the VPS, wrote 17,500 lines of code. And that's not a proxy for quality, of course, but 5 engineers, over 5 weeks it would have taken to do all of that, compressed into 2.5 hours. It's a 100x multiplier. And of course, people then say to me, oh, but the code is crap. It's not. If you plan up front, if you actually sharpen everything, then it is actually really good. Is it perfect? It's not, no, but neither are we. And is it getting better? Yes, and we don't seem to be. So that is, hold that 100x multiplier in your head, because everything I've shown you was where this got to 7 days ago. I'll come back to this in a second, but let's first take stock. Up until last week, this whole operating model I've just showed you ran on 60 quid a month for the VPS, 180 a month for my Claude code, so we could handle those 20 instances in the VPS using Agent Flywheel. And so it felt like the future for me. I thought, wow, this is amazing. But then Dex was trapped in the terminal, in Cursor. It's in the IDE. And my husband was never going to use Dex, right? He's a complete Luddite. And so the dream was always to try and make Dex a chief of staff that worked for normal people, not for us. In the flow, I'll say we're not normal, but you know what I mean. In the flow of their day. A local desktop application that basically anybody could use, but I could not get there on my own. The architecture, the edge cases, that final 20% was where 4.8 was not getting me to. It was so frustrating. I could see it, I could nearly touch it and feel it, but I couldn't get there by myself without spending money on engineers in my spare time. And so there's a right old spanner in my works, and then, literally last week, Fable dropped. I was getting into bed Tuesday night, and I got my phone out just before I went to bed, and I literally was like, look at this. Can you please have a look at all my docs on the computer? Please. All of those unfinished hopes and dreams, you know, everything that we wanted to get to, we couldn't get to, all the frustrations where we couldn't get desktop over the line. Just come back to me in the morning. Love you, Claude. Night, night, Claude. All right? Now, being a man of a certain age, I was up at 4 o'clock for a pee. And I honestly was saying to myself, Dave, do not look at the phone. Do not look at the phone. Do not do it. So, oh man. I did. And I got a message from Claude going, it's all done. It's all done, Dave. Screenshots a lot. With a love heart emoji. Honestly, so good. My husband's divorced. My mind was blown. Everything in my geeky world, everything shifted. Let me show you. This is my brief from last Friday. It's not a demo. This is what actually landed on my screen just overnight with that vague prompt I just read out to you. And see, these, my team from Pendo left comments on the Google Doc for this talk today. And Dex is basically quietly bringing that in and suggests I don't ignore their helpful support. Thank you, Jess or Laura. We got there in the end, I think. But look at this. Dex is now pulling in hundreds of newsletters and YouTube signals every day. And I knew I had, or it knew I had MTP today. So it filtered everything through that lens and flagged that this story about AI's killing product management story is peaking right now from a few newsletters, and that I should probably have something to say about it. It didn't just summarize my inbox. It prepared me for the room, but the brief was only half of this sexy serendipity. Here's routines. This is where it stops being something I talk to and something that actually comes to me, works proactively for me. Routine here is going through all the tools on a schedule and doing something useful with what it finds. I've got 16 of them running now, and the calendar guard that you see here behind me, essentially, every time something comes through for me that has nothing to do with my weekly goals, what it's going to do is it's going to basically go through and draft a message for me to approve. It never sends anything itself. It does the thinking and leaves the decision to me. Bonkers. Others scan my Slack. One hunts for evidence that I'm actually progressing against my career goals. And then if there isn't a routine, you just have a chat. The software works this way, and works the way I work, not the other way around. It's malleable software, right? It's a key theme of this presentation. This brings me to the final move. So once we've out-hunt, once we bend the system of work, and then also, when everyone's building this fast, then building is no longer the hard part. The question changes. Not can we build it, but is it actually worth building for people? And that, my friends, is what Pillar 3 is about. And this is where I have to be honest with you, and something a tad embarrassing. In 2005 at Mail Online, when we launched it, we built the entire thing by gut. We didn't really have analytics back then. We had no idea what we were doing. And so AI then made me, same situation here, build 10 times faster, but I had no idea what was happening. Dex lives in the terminal. I don't have analytics. I have no idea who my users are, how many there are, or whether we're even still using the damn thing after a few months. So half that loop is completely dark. And the reaction from people has been great. People like Martin Erickson, you'll see later today, Ed Biden from Hustle Badger, people who I look up to are giving really good praise on what Dex is all about. But humbling doesn't cover it. Humbling is not data. And the timing was perfect. My CEO, Todd at Pendo, have been building something on the side, a new product called Novus.ai. And it's designed exactly for geeks like me, building with AI agents and shipping fast. And just as I got to the desktop app and it all pulled together, Novus was ready. It's now in beta. I pointed it at Dex, and what happened next is what I'm about to show you. Watch this.
Okie dokie, so 5 minutes ago, literally 5 minutes ago, I just installed a Novus onto Dex, onto my repo, and this is what we have. Look at this is hair in the arms. I go in here, and I've not tagged anything. It's done it all for me. Track events, gorgeous. This is so good. And more importantly, funnels and journeys. Look at this is so good. Okay, so new onboarding wizard. It's got everything in here, all the different steps. I've got all my funnels. So basically, it's inferring everything. Segments, all done, so I can automatically message people depending on what bucket they're in. I mean, it's just really, really, really good. Aesthetically, brilliant. My guides are all done. This is just gorgeous. In here, memory. So what does it know about the system? What can it infer about who my personas are? Non-tech audience, yes, absolutely. What the product areas, yes. How does this all work? So basically now you've got this whole bunch of context that the AI now can work with. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. So it goes through the whole day 1 to day 7 of getting people on board into the application. New user onboarding, we've got all of these steps here. So all of these funnels now automatically track. Literally not an engineer bribed or killed in the process of doing this, all in 10 minutes from start to scratch. Bonkers.
Absolutely bonkers. And by the way, because the code base is the ground source of truth, the AI never drifts. It never falls off track. It's grounded. And it's also, by the way, full disclosure, Dex only has 2 users. So let me show you now what happens in theory if we have data flowing through. Left on the side, you see rage clicks, climbing frustration. But what it's not surfacing, or what's surfacing here, is spotting that the count pinned at exactly 100, and it's not moving. And so it felt that it smells like an API cap. So it's not just showing me a chart, it's reasoning about the data for you. On the right-hand side, what you're seeing is that Novus ships with its own UX agent that proactively works with you. So it's reviewed the feature against my code base. It's called a bug, a link that breaks the core flow, a core job to be done, and pointed at the exact file. And here's the thing, when you build with AI, you're building in isolation. The feature works perfectly on its own, but it can still break your core navigation somewhere else. And so Novus has that full picture, your entire code base, and it catches the knock-on, which is hugely powerful. So Pendo has been around for over a dozen years. It's the layer of truth about how software is actually used, who your users are, what they're doing, the job they're trying to get done. And for enterprise, that matters in 3 places: the software you build for your customers, and the software you build for your own people, and the software you buy for them as well, right? And Pendo sits underneath all of that, and Novus is what Pendo built on top of that for people like me. People are building with AI agents. When you're building this fast, you need a platform that can keep up. And Pendo built Novus just for that exact problem. We're all here today at the Pendo booth. One person's side project like mine, or the biggest enterprise in the room, we all have something for you. So come say hello. Novus is free in open beta right now. And before I go, I have a confession. You'll notice that I'm in bright colors today with a big splash of Pendo pink. And after last Friday, I should probably be in black because of Fable. And the model that basically built all of this for me in a single night. The US government just blocked it for non-US citizens from accessing it, and Fable is apparently too powerful for us. So in 2 weeks, what we've seen, I thought I'd built the future, Fable moved the frontier overnight, now Fable's gone. Bonkers. And that is the whole point. When the frontier can be switched off without warning, you need something that's yours. You need something that's open, running on your own machine, something no one can take away. And Dex is open source MIT license, so please clone it, bend it. People are doing bonkers things with it. It's all yours to have. So where does that leave us? The hard part used to be building. That part's now over, I feel. In a world with malleable software, the edge doesn't go to whoever has the most engineers or the biggest roadmap. It goes to the people who spot the signal first, at scale, who bend the tools instead of waiting for someone else's, and who actually check the thing works for real human beings. And that's the game now, and honestly, it's never been a more exciting time to be in product. A couple of things before I let you go. We're at the Pendo booth, like I say. Please do come say hello. Dex is yours. Please clone it, run with it. Follow me on LinkedIn for this whole messy journey, all the wins and all the face plants. There's many of them. And later this month, we'll have a new podcast channel around what I'm up to, all the tools, all the shenanigans. So please go build your malleable software, Go be the truffle hunters. Thank you, MTP. It's been an utter honor.